everyone, my name is Miranda and welcome to day 3 of my unofficial Hunger Games week that I have going on, where today I will be reviewing the Catching Fire book by Suzanne Collins, of course, and I feel like this might be giving away what I love about this book, but this book is my favorite in the entire series, so you should know how much I love this book. I think it just nailed so many amazing points. And the thing going into this series is Hunger Games was such an easy book, I guess, to understand. Like, it was about Hunger Games, but then it's kind of like, where do we go after the Hunger Games? Like, what happens from here on out? And I think we all had a lot of ideas for what was going to happen, but I don't think anyone could have ever imagined that Katniss and Peeta and company were going to go back into the Hunger Games. Even though it kind of sucked for them, it was kind of a good thing for us because it gave us a lot of action and it introduced us to so many amazing new characters. We got Finnick, we got Johanna. Yeah, there we go. It's Johanna. Yeah. And Beetee and Mags and the Morphlings and all these amazing characters. And it also opened us up to a much bigger world, because in the first book we were constricted simply to Katniss's world, her world of District 12, where she then went to the Hunger Games, but she was still kept very sheltered from most of it. So a lot of what we saw going on in this regime, if you will, was bad, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it just seemed like, okay, it's stuff you have to deal with, stuff you have to live with. It never seemed too personal. It never seemed like snow on Katniss until the very end of the Hunger Games book. But this book completely changed that dynamic of their relationship. That right off from the bat, you saw that Snow was not happy with Katniss for pulling that stunt that let Peeta and her live in the Hunger Games, and now he's going to be watching her. So even though it's a really small moment, a very pivotal moment, because it's kind of hanging over her for the rest of the series. But the cool thing is Peeta doesn't know it, and she thinks if she tells Peeta, he's gonna make things worse. So she's kind of trying to keep it a secret, but then also at the same time Peeta wants nothing to do with her because she told him in the last book that she doesn't really love him. It was all just an act, all her feelings, and that's a tough thing to deal with if you're Peeta, because you've been in love with this girl since you were like 7, and you finally thought she was going to love you back, and then you find out it's not true. So we can see where Peeta's feeling a little messed up right now, and Katniss, as much as she's not in love with him totally yet, she's still a caring person, and she still doesn't want to see him die, which is why when she wants to leave District 12 and run away, Gale's like, oh, you're going to leave Peeta? And she's like, no, he has to come with us, and Gale's just like, girl, please. Gale, I feel like, again, I didn't really love his character in this book. I never really liked him in any of the books, but I just feel bad because it was almost like you needed Gale for the first book just for Katniss to have someone to, like, kind of talk to and bounce her ideas off in the woods and stuff like that. But then for the rest of the series, Gale really didn't have any points. So it was like she kind of almost had to write him in as a love triangle, or else Gale just would have been like, there would have been like no tension or anything, and everyone would have been like, why is Gale here? At least now he's like the plot point for a love triangle, which I hate, but I get why they did it, because there's really like nothing else to do with Gale if you don't do that. And the cool thing about this book was that even though so much of it wasn't in the Hunger Games like the first one was, it still felt really interesting because now you had this added twist with what Snow was trying to get out of Katniss and trying to say that she needed to stop this rebellion, but then we also got glimpses of where this rebellion was starting and seeing how one person really can change a nation, because these people were uniting behind Katniss. She did what no one else had been able to do before, and she made the Capitol and Snow look foolish. She made them look stupid. She outwitted them. She outsmarted them, and because of that, they punish her. And it's kind of like this message, like, this is what happens to people who think they're smarter than the government. We send them back into the Hunger Games and we try and kill them all again. Luckily for Katniss, there was a plan going on that she didn't know about and Peeta didn't know about, but it was to try and get her out so they could start the revolution. And that last few pages, those are words I will forever have in my memory. Like, talk about such amazing lines when Gale says, Katniss, there is no District 12. That line just sticks with you for a final line to be like, what? Because you finally see the horror, the horrificness, everything that the Capitol does and everything they take. And it was such an amazing moment to leave the book off on, and I was so excited to read Mockingjay after that, which thankfully I didn't have to wait long because I was one of the ones that waited till after all the books were out to read them. But if you want to know what I thought about the Mockingjay book, you'll have to tune back Wednesday when I do my review for that. Overall, I would definitely give Catching Fire 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, it's my favorite in terms of character development, plot development, world development. I think it just nailed all the points. But the thing that I also liked, unlike Divergent, it kept it smaller. Like, yes, we expanded to the nation, but we didn't expand, like, outside of Panam. Like, we never wondered about, hey, who's over in California, I wonder. And I like that because I think it kept it big enough, but also it kept it centralized enough that you could still care and still be invested and not worry about all this other stuff that's happening. So I really love Catching Fire. Like I said, it's my favorite book in the Hunger Games series. And if you want to see my thoughts on the movie for Catching Fire, make sure to come back tomorrow to my channel where I will be uploading my movie review of Catching Fire. Hint, I really liked it. So thank you guys again all so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and want to see more reviews, anything Hunger Games related, and also subscribe down to my channel to be told to make all sorts of new videos. Thank you guys again all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!